Hello there, Eagles fans. Welcome back to Philly Eagles Therapy. I'm Basil
And I'm Baz.
and Dad. It's that point in the season where we just kind of have to weather the storm. A lot of, it's a game coming up here that you got to win. We're in must-win territory. Thankfully, it's a bad team, but that's kind of what makes this game a little bit scarier
I agree.
because it's not a good team.
I agree. I mean, it's that game that gets you. It's the one that bites you. You can't take it for granted. I don't think they will. I think there's been so much adversity in the last month that I really think they're going to have to come out fighting, and I really believe they will.
Good, good. We apologize to any fans if the energy level's a little bit low. Both of us dealing with a different type of sickness for some reason. Um, I haven't worked in 3 days, and you've been taking it easy today, so it's
Yeah.
been a little tough time. It's not Eagles related, although maybe it is. I wonder if there's a little bit of science to that might back it up. But
No. These burps that are coming from my feet are not. Yeah, it's
yeah,
not that. It's not that.
yeah. Well, Dad, I see you got your Cooper DeJean jersey on. I've got my Jason Kelsey jersey on, and I chose it because I felt like I just can't wear a jersey of any player on this team right now. I
Okay.
had to choose a
Okay.
legacy player. I cannot wear a player who plays on this team currently. I just can't right now. I just can't.
Well, it's funny because the first couple days after that game, I wear an Eagle shirt every single day, right? And I kind of was out in public, and I was kind of like just hanging off, not afraid. I just didn't really want to hear it. I might have
It just
tackled
yeah.
somebody.
I understand. No, I understand. There's you kind of have to. I used to always say, I wear Eagles shirts more after losses than I do after wins because I like to wear it on the sleeve, like we always talked about. But this one's been a little bit different.
Yeah, I
these
can't argue
last few
with you
games,
there.
these last few games have been kind of like, you know what? I don't even want to hear about it, so I don't want to wear an Eagles shirt because I don't want anybody to even say anything. I just don't. I don't want to hear about it at all.
Well,
So
I mean, you could see the background I have now, which is different than I've
it's
been
good.
sporting for a while. I finally got the desk pulled over here, and
Looks really good.
hopefully, one of these days we can get together and sit at the table, and do it all at once.
I
But
know.
for right now, it's
I, I
just
struggle
trying it
because
out.
I struggle because I have all this Disney stuff over here, but I got the Eagle stuff over here, so it works out. But
It's good.
yep, Dad, let's get into the game a little bit. Let's talk about some injuries. Anything else? Actually, before that, do you have anything else you want to say about the Chargers game? Any last thoughts? I mean,
Well, I mean,
is it a worse loss than it was originally, or is it better now? Like,
after seeing what went down tonight in the NFL, the Bucks lost a home game too. Now they're
yeah,
7-7. I mean, it's been a crazy season, and we all know that. I mean, I've talked to a couple of my buddies tonight, fantasy guys, and they were, he's out. His team's out. Half the players he had didn't play or were injured or were on the Eagles, one or the other. But yeah, so it's just that it's the way it goes. It's just been a kind of a different season. You still have a few dominant teams, but really not that many when it gets to the playoffs. I just think it's going to be a wide open race, and we just got to get there, man. We just got to get there. We got to win this game this week. We have to win this game this week.
yeah.
Otherwise, stop.
Yeah, I know. I agree. No, this is definitely that game where you looked at on the schedule. Maybe not before the season because you might have thought they would be kind of good or something. I don't know. But at that point, a couple of weeks ago, when you looked at the schedule, you definitely saw this game as okay, there's a win, and
Yeah,
it is definitely one of those games where it's like if you don't win this game, it
yeah,
is a ooh, like Nick Wright said today on First Things First, a fold the club game, where it's just
right.
like there's certain times, certain games in history where if you don't win it, just fold the club, and that's kind of what this is. It's
Yeah.
just fold the group, fold the team
Well,
because it's just
Nick Wright knows better than anyone right now because his team is in the tank. So
yeah, which is
that's
great.
it's kind of enjoyable. But I didn't hope I was hoping that we would be the ones that shut the door on their season this year, which we did in the Super Bowl. Obviously, their team's not the same, but I didn't see what we have coming. And the other thing I want to say about the crazy season it's been. We lost games we should have won. We won games that maybe we shouldn't have won. So it's been a weird situation. If you were to go back to games you picked us to win or you picked us to lose, some of them on your list would not have been on the list. That's for sure.
Yeah, I only picked one correctly so far that we lost,
Right,
and that was the Cowboys game. I did pick
right.
that, or I mean, before the season. I mean,
Yeah,
that was one. That was the only one I had correct
right,
so far, and I predicted us to go 13-4, and that's already gone.
right. It is.
Best we can do is 12-5. It's probably going to be
Hey,
11-6. We'll see.
I would take
Um,
12 and 5.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Shout out real quick before we get into it. Sorry, I'm stalling a little bit. Shout out to my fantasy club, fantasy group, or fantasy league. Geez, if they're watching, I got the number one seed in fantasy. I'm playing against Pasquale this week, who's a Falcons fan, so he had a really good night tonight.
Oh yeah.
But hopefully he has a really bad week for his players
Yeah.
because I'm trying to go to the championship my fourth straight year. We've done the league for 4 seasons, and I've been in the
Right.
championship three of them. And now we're in the fourth one, and I have a chance to go to the championship again.
Well,
So
tonight was a heck
let's
of a
go.
game. I don't know if you probably
Yeah,
didn't watch. I don't know if you watched
I
it, but
I shut it off because I'll do a little plug for Apple TV. I watch Pluribus.
okay, okay,
It comes out at like 6 o'clock here,
yeah, I'll
and
get it.
yeah, I watched until we got Rosie down for bed. I was
Right,
watching the game, and then after that, it was we're going Pluribus. So
right.
I turned it on for the last 2 minutes, so I saw the game-winning drive, which was awesome.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean,
but
it's funny though. At one point, I'm sorry to interrupt you there. At one
okay,
point, it was 28-14, and
okay,
then Atlanta goes down and scores, and then they go for two.
yeah,
You're on the road. What do you do? I don't understand some of these plays, the things the coaches are doing. I just don't understand it. You kick the field goal there, and you try to tie it up at 28-28.
extra point,
I
yeah,
mean, they would have won 30-28
yeah,
if they hadn't done it. But I just don't understand what they're doing. What 31 actually, but I don't know
yeah.
why would you go for two then? You go for two only when you have to go for two,
I
especially on the
agree.
road. Especially on the
I
road.
agree.
Maybe go for the win. If they had just made it 28-21 and then scored a touchdown, maybe go for two and see if you
Yeah,
win the game right there. But to do what they did, I just don't understand it. And it's just like last week's game, which we beat to death. I mean, the fact that we didn't try to run the clock out, we tried to beat them instead of just trying to win the game, which we needed to win the game. And we could have ran
yeah.
that clock down, like you had said for on your rant, and it just made me nuts. Another thing
That
that
was a
was good
terrible
was
loss.
um, uh, we had a lot of views last week, which was I was really happy about because sometimes when you lose a big game like that, nobody wants to watch anybody talk. So
Yeah,
we had some pretty good views, so I'm pretty happy about that. Just don't forget to give us a thumbs up when you're on there.
yeah. Last thing I wanted to mention real quick. Sorry, before I know we keep on going on
It's
a little
okay.
tangent here.
It's
I
okay.
thought it was funny during the Rams Bucks game. I turn it on, and at the 2 minutes, it says Kirk Cousins, fifth in game-winning drives or something like that, and it said his last one was Week 5 of 2024 against the Bucks, and that was the night that Rosie was born. So I thought
Oh,
that was kind of
okay.
funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and they did
she was
bring that up,
born.
and they said it was a home game for the Falcons, and they
Yeah,
upset the Bucks.
yes.
So
She was born Thursday night during the Falcons Bucks game, and I remember because it was like considered one of the best games of the season, and I missed it. So,
right.
but okay, let's
Well,
get into this. We were
yeah,
postponing a little bit too long. All right, sorry.
that's okay. It's
All right,
okay.
Eagles taking on the Raiders. Thank God, Dad. Sunday, 11 o'clock game for us.
Yes.
Fantastic. We love to
Yeah.
see it. Some bad injury news. We kind of weren't expecting. We were kind of expecting Jalen Carter to come back.
Mm,
Might be missing it. He was a
yeah.
non-participant. Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson's a tough one because they didn't put him on IR. So the
Right.
anticipation would he'd only miss like 3 weeks because
Right.
IR would be 4 weeks. But
Right.
I think the thought process is, and this is where it gets scary, they might be thinking, oh, well, it's not a good team, so maybe we don't need Lane. But
Right.
now this year without Lane, you're 0-3. So,
Right. I agree, but
it's
we've known
scary.
that in the past too, and personally, I thought when I knew he went out, it was kind of like don't rush him back. Carter, I did not think he was going to play because first of all, the defensive
Yeah.
line, the four guys that we had in there last week played
Yes.
really really well against a bad team. I mean, I don't know if you saw this. Becton, he's their right guard. He got like
Yeah.
a
Got killed.
13.7
Yeah.
rating for
He got
PFF for his
destroyed.
blocks. And
Yeah.
I mean, if we had taken a few of made a few of those other, we would have had 10 or 11 sacks in that game. There was a
Yeah.
few that he slipped out of, but and this line here's the same. I don't want to jinx anything, but throw jinx out the window. It doesn't matter at this point. But
At this point, yeah.
the way they performed, I think it was great. And if that means Carter's got to sit another week, I know they talk about he didn't really have surgery, he had procedures, which probably tells you they just did some scraping of the bone or
Yeah.
reattach something. It wasn't a major deal, so I don't see why push him out there, man. Let's just give him
I
another week.
agree. With
And
how good you
Lane, yeah,
with how good your
go ahead.
defensive line played, there's no point rushing him back. I mean, like you said, this offensive line not great, and you're going to be playing against Kenny Pickett, which we'll talk a little bit more about. So it is kind of one of those situations. You're right. You don't really want to push anybody coming back because they just played so well.
Yeah. Plus, it's going to be a wet game. It's going to be. I'll do a little weather report real quick now. It's going to get 1 to 3 inches of snow Saturday into Sunday. Sunday morning, a little bit of light snow. So by 1 o'clock, they're talking it'll be clear up, but it's still going to. The temperatures are going to plummet. It's going to be sloppy. It's going to be cold. It's going to be wet. So again, we had our game last week in the perfect conditions, and we looked like crap. So hopefully, maybe we're a mutter team. Maybe we're a team that's best destined to win in crappy weather. I don't know.
Yeah. Next one I wanted to note, Landon Dickerson. He didn't participate for rest. I would say at this point you shouldn't even practice him.
No
I'm
way.
kind
No
of at
way.
that point.
Totally.
Fred Johnson, limited participant. You kind of expect that to just be a little bit more rest. And then full participants that were listed: Zach Bond, Cameron Williams, and a big one I wanted to mention, Charlie Hewlett, the long snapper who we had to kind of replace
Right.
because he had gotten injured in his abdomen. And there's been some talks about since he left,
I saw it.
Jake
Yeah.
Elliott's accuracy has gone down immensely.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much the snaps really influencing that. Um,
Yeah. Who knows?
I don't know, but we'll see. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. I still think they should have kept Rick Lovato. I don't know what they were doing. Once you start throwing other players in, then he gets hurt, and then another guy comes. It's just you got to have consistency in that kicking game, and we'll see if Jake can redeem himself this week. Hopefully, we can score some touchdowns because that's what we really need to do. But we'll see.
Yep. Big name for them on the did not participate for the Raiders. Geno Smith, like we kind of mentioned, most likely going to be playing against Kenny Pickett this week, who really hasn't played much this season, hasn't played much the last few seasons,
Right.
only in kind of cleanup duty for the Eagles and the Raiders sometimes. But
Right.
he's Super Bowl winning quarterback. He played in the Super Bowl and he won a Super Bowl. So so
Yeah.
we'll see Kenny Pickett out there
Yeah.
on Sunday, which is exciting.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I hate to look at that too because you never know. Quarterback gets hot, and so hopefully they can put him on his butt and he makes some mistakes and things go our way. But with the bad line and the backup quarter, I mean, Gino, he's always this year he's been really bad, but he's another one that can get hot at the right time. So
Yep.
I don't know. Would you rather see Gino? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, the way Geno was playing, there's probably not that big of a drop off to Kenny Pickett at this
I would
point,
agree. Yeah,
but I would still say that Geno's probably the better quarterback.
yeah,
But as of right now, not really. I mean, it's tough. But
yeah.
uh, all time record dad Eagles Raiders 7-7. Kind of
Wow,
funny. Yeah, 7-6 regular season, and then of course they are 1-0 in the Super Bowls against us.
that
So
hurts. That
it's
hurts.
a bummer. That's okay. First Super
Yeah.
Bowl. Does it really hurt?
No, no, it doesn't anymore. It's funny. I
I,
always
I
bring this up with my brothers and my sisters when we talk about the game. It just made 2017 that much better. Now, beating the Patriots in 2004-05, that would have been great, but that one kind of hurt more. But the first Super Bowl, I mean, that was in 1980, man. I was only 17. I wasn't staying in at Sundays. I was telling you last week, I didn't stay
yeah
in and watch the games. It wasn't my, I was out playing basketball every day that I could. We weren't sitting in the house, but now that
yeah
it's been 45 years since then, something like that,
yeah.
yeah,
And
it hurts.
similar one for me, the Patriots in 04-05.
Yeah,
I was what 6 years old, 5 years old,
right,
seven,
right.
almost seven. I mean, come on, but
Yeah, you
I
just
don't
you just wanted me to go out and play with you in the yard.
exactly. I remember. Yeah. Um.
You
So let's
hated
talk about
football
some.
then.
I
Like,
did. I
Dad, come on,
know.
let's go outside. Yeah,
Let's talk some matchups, Dad. So, not many offenses are worse than the Eagles. The good news is the Raiders are. The Raiders are the 31st ranked offense. They're one of the worst
wow.
offenses in the league, 26th in passing. They are the single worst rushing team in the league, 32nd in rushing, only 72 yards per game, 32nd in points. They average 15 a game. Unfortunately, we're not higher up, and then they're pretty bad on third down as well. So good news is the defense, which has been playing phenomenal since the bye week, besides the Bears games we all kind of talk
Right,
about. The good news is this defense that's been playing well is playing against a really bad offense with a quarterback who hasn't been playing during that time. You have to
right,
think about, the 31st ranked offense was with their starting quarterback. What's the backup quarterback going to look
right,
like?
right.
Better,
And the other
worse, I don't
thing,
know, but
And the other thing about the Bears game, if we have to go back to that, the offense gave them no help in that game. You can't go
yeah,
three and out. We never did count them up. Three and out 8 times, maybe
yeah,
nine
probably.
times. We really don't know. But I mean, you do that at the offense. I mean, that's the same with the Cowboys game. You got to at least drive the ball. You can't just go three and out. And And that's one good thing about the Chargers game. You did see some spark of offense, some spark. Of course, the fact that
Yeah,
Barkley had 66 yards rushing in the first half and only had 5 carries in the second half. We always say, stick with the run, stick with the run. Well, we didn't stick with the run. So,
yeah.
I mean,
Um, Not big names across the board. I mean, they have Ashton Jeanty, who's had a little bit less of a stellar season than many people probably expected. Let me see if I have his numbers pulled up right here. 665 yards, so even less than Saquon.
right.
He's been having a worse season than Saquon. So he's been struggling. They did trade away their best wide receiver in Jacoby Myers to the Jags, who I have in fantasy in my other league, did okay. But
Right.
Trey Tucker, Jack Beck, Tyler Lockett, nothing to write home from there. Big guy that they have is Brock Bowers, possibly the best
Tight
tight
end.
end in the league, at least a top
Right.
three tight end.
Right.
Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean are going to have their hands full with that guy.
Right. Right. Well, we just hopefully they can shut him down because they've been shutting down a lot of wide receivers, especially last week, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
DBs look great.
And he's not having as great of a season as he was last year. Brock Bowers right now, only 600. Oh, 1 second, I lost it. Sorry. There we go. Only 619 yards last year. He had 1,100 yards.
Yeah.
He had better quarterback play last year than this year,
Right.
um, and only 6 touchdowns on the season, which was more than last year. But yeah, he's only had 53 receptions last year. He had 112. And there's still some
Wow.
games left, but he's
Yeah.
definitely not. He's definitely not on the same pace he
No.
was last year.
Well, I
Similar
mean,
to
that's the
Saquon.
thing. When you're a team like that, when people figure you out, they know where you're going, It's kind of like tonight with the game. You could see they were using Mike Evans a lot. Early on he had like 7 targets, two
Yeah,
catches, but he heated up. But I mean, that's the thing. You take away Bowers and Ginty, I mean, or at least you think Ginty, but Bowers is the guy from last year. You take him away, and who are they throwing to?
yeah. I want to give a little sad shout out to Luke, who's in my fantasy group. I don't know if he watches, but he's a Chiefs fan. But he had Kyle Pitts and Mike Evans, and both of them were incredible tonight. And he had them both on the bench. So
Oh, okay.
really, really tough night for him.
Yeah.
And the player he started was Bucky Irving, who only got him like 7 or 8 points. So
Yeah.
he had a tough. It's gonna be a tough one if he gets
Right.
bounced in the first round. It's gonna be
Yeah.
he's gonna be stomach. It's gonna be a painful
Yeah.
one because
Well,
he
that's the
sat
hard
the
part
two
about
best guys.
That's the hard part about fantasy. That's the way it works. I mean,
Yeah.
early on the
Yeah, I
guy's
mean,
great or he's hurt or yeah, it's just
I
the way
mean,
it works.
I have Baker, but I decided to start Sam Darnold over him, and
Okay.
he didn't go insane. He got like 22 points.
Yeah.
He was projected 18, and Sam Darnold's projected a little bit higher, like 18.8 or something like that.
Right.
So, as long as Darnold gets me 20, then I'd be fine with that. But
Right.
you never know. Dan, let's talk about the Raiders' defense a little bit. Not terrible. They're pretty middling defense. They're 14th in total yards, 17th against the pass, 16th against the run, 24th in points allowed, and 30th in third down percentage. So, they're middle of the pack in the top three portions. They're not great. Not a great scoring defense, and not a great third down defense.
Right. They're just letting the team stay on the field, and that's what's
Correct.
hurting them. That's why they score 15 points a game.
Yep. And of course, the big names to mention on that team going to be number one, Maxx Crosby, a guy who has an argument for being the best edge rusher in the NFL. He's just an unreal player, and the sack numbers have not always been there for him. But you just watch him play, and you're just like, oh my god, like he's one of those players that when you watch a football game, you go, oh, that's the best player on the field. Like
Yeah, he's
from one snap, you would go, oh, he's the best player on the team. Like,
yeah,
and
you know
he's
how I feel about him.
incredible.
I think he's great. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
great.
And it's going to be a little bit terrifying if Lane Johnson's not playing and Fred Johnson's banged up. It's going to be a little
Right.
scary. It's going
Yeah,
to be
because
really scary.
yeah, because Crosby not only is a sacker, but he's also a defender. He
Oh,
plays the
yeah.
run, he plays the pass. He's just a really good player. So maybe run at him or run away from him. We'll see what happens.
And I'm always still surprised. Every time I always forget. Jamal Adams still in the NFL. Used to be a safety. Now he's their linebacker over at the Raiders. He can still make plays here and there. Former Eagle Devin White playing on the Raiders as a middle linebacker for them. But in the secondary, not many big names. Darian Porter, Jeremy Chin, who had a couple good seasons early in his career, Eric
Right.
Stokes, Greedy Vance, Isaiah Polamau. I mean, this should be a game that our wide receivers run amok. I mean, it
Well,
should. That's the problem. The word is
right.
should be.
Right. Right. And we talked about it too last week. the Chargers defense was like number 3 overall or something, right? So I mean, it wasn't like they, were shredded wheat. I mean, they were a pretty high ranked defense. So, but
Mhm.
we did some good things last week with the passing game. I thought there
We
was
did.
some drops, as we know, and things like that. But yeah, hopefully they can go at these guys this week and kind of get back on track and maybe get Hurts a little bit more in your favor.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Should we talk about Hurts a little bit? He's my
Sure.
player to watch. I'll just throw it in there. He's my
Oh,
player
okay,
to
good.
watch. I wanted to talk about, Aunt Margie said in the comments section, me and Aunt Margie are feuding this year, if you haven't noticed. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
And she pointed out, she doesn't think he's as bad as I think he is. And I want to address that because it's like, I try to make it clear that I don't think he's a bad player. I do think he's a good player. I just I don't think he's elite. And I do think there is truth behind the fact that, many analysts and many football guys and, all the shows and everything, they constantly talk about how he's carried by his weapons and by his roster. And in our best seasons, 22, 24, we had top defenses when we went to the Super Bowl. Whereas in 21, 23, bad
right,
defenses, bad seasons,
right.
like all that sort of stuff. This year's kind of weird because great defense, not so great offense.
Yeah,
But
well, and the run
I
game,
do,
the run game last
yes,
year was huge.
yes. And I do want to mention, yeah, in 2022, we had the best run game in NFL history until last year.
Right,
So it's, I think there's just truth behind the matter of he is a player that I think he's more so going to not lose you games than win them. And
right,
that sounds dumb to say because he is a winner, and that's the big thing about him. Has always been the winning thing.
right.
But it's just with the eye test, people might say, "Well, hey, we're winning," but the eye test for me has always been, I don't
Yeah,
know. He's just not elite to me. And there are
and
elite qualities. I wanted to mention that. I think he's a fantastic leader. I think he's really clutch. We saw it last week. Unfortunately, the pick happened, just a bad decision. But you saw, in a game where he had 4 turnovers before that last one, he was driving us down the field and had a
yeah,
chance to win the game.
right.
And he had a great pass to Devontae, which was the best pass of the season. I think he's a very clutch player. He can make the big plays in the big moments. It's just the consistency is painful with him, and it
And
just feels like it's
some of the
always. It feels like
decision
it's
making
always
though,
going to be.
but it's some of the decision making as well.
Yeah,
Missing a guy that's wide open because he's not one of your top 2 receiver guys, like a Jahan Dotson or a Cooper. You got to use what you've got. You got to use the guy that's open, and we see it. Not week after week, but on some consistency, we see that, and you're like, well, use. What do you mean he's got to get in your good graces before you throw like Dotson? They kept saying it. Oh well, he doesn't trust him. Well, maybe he doesn't trust you. Like you got to throw the ball to the guy that's open, and that
yeah.
means something. So I mean, he did
No,
this week, but
that's always been a huge problem with Hertz. We have never had a good number 3 receiver when he's been our
yeah,
quarterback.
yeah,
Quez was really good as a number 2 in 21, and then in 22 when he was the number 3, he had like 300 yards. And then
right,
last year we had Dotson almost the whole season,
right,
and what he finished with 150 yards. I mean,
yep,
and I know he had the big plays in the Super Bowl, so it ended up
right,
coming through. But it's just like
right,
Dotson this year felt like first week of the season, Dotson had 1 catch for 50 yards and was our leading receiver for a week.
right,
And it just, I don't understand. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
We've never
and we
been able
talk
to have
about
a
that as
good.
well. We talk about that as well, where we're watching a game, and in the first quarter, their quarterbacks completed passes to 7 different guys. We,
Yeah,
we only have 2 guys that are catching the ball. Maybe Barkley out of the backfield, sometimes Goddard, but that's what we get. It's those you shut down those 2 guys or you bracket those 2 guys, and there's the ball's getting thrown all over the place. So,
yeah.
I'd like to see him mature that way and start using more people that are on the field. But I don't know if it's going to happen. It's been 4 or 5 years now, and it's not.
Yeah. And the next thing I wanted to mention was what did I have? I had it right here. I'm sorry, I might have forgotten it. Yeah, Dotson, 209 yards. Oh yeah, yeah. What I wanted to say, all the things I say about Hurts, I do want to address it with saying, in terms of this season and like blame percentage, I don't blame Hurts more than I blame the offensive coordinator. I think it's
Agreed.
way more. I think it's way more Patulo's fault and Nick's fault than it is Jalen. It's just that
Yeah.
Jalen, when he's had the chances to
Redeem it.
kind of redeem himself or ice things. He hasn't really done that this year,
Right.
or at
Right.
least as of late. And you know, do I think Tanner McKee should? Do I think they should bench him for Tanner McKee for the rest of the season? No. And I
Yeah.
know a lot of people have been saying, "Oh,
No,
that's
no
idiotic,
way.
that's moronic, all that sort of stuff."
Yeah.
But I just think in a game where a guy throws two or three interceptions in the first three quarters, how do you got to take him out? You know what I mean? Like, and
Maybe
that's
for a
in a
series. Maybe for a series.
that's all I'm
That's
saying.
how.
And
Yeah.
it bothers me. What other thing that bothers me? I'm not sorry. I don't want to take us too off topic, but I'm
It's okay.
listening to 94 WIP, or maybe it was another podcast. I don't remember. They're talking about if the benefits to benching Hurts, da 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 da, and they were very adamant. We don't believe this should happen, but let's talk about it just so we can address it. This
Right.
would be good. This is the da, da, this is the da da da. And then they said, okay, but here's why you shouldn't, and it would be stupid. And they mentioned that if you bench Hurts, his Eagles career is over. And I'm like, why? Like,
Yeah.
like why? Isn't the big praise on Hurts that he's not an ego guy and that he cares about the team winning? Like,
Right.
wouldn't he be, in college, he was benched, of course, the big thing, the national championship game, they benched him, they won, and then he was back on Alabama the next year as a backup. Like,
Right.
so it's not like this is foreign to him. Now, I know you don't want to do it, but
Right.
I just don't understand the whole, oh, if you sat Jalen for, the fourth quarter and, you try to put Tanner McKee and you didn't give Hurts the chance to win it, it's the end of his career here. And I'm like, why?
Right.
Like, I don't,
Yeah.
the whole big thing about him is team first mentality. I don't care
Right.
about stats. I care about winning. Well, then why
Right.
would that be the end of his career here? I don't understand
Right.
that kind of
And
frustrated me when I heard
and
that.
he's definitely not the emotional player. Someone like say Carson Wentz, who once he didn't come in, he just you
Yeah,
could tell
he
he
was
folded
done.
like a wet blanket. I mean,
He's
when
broken. He
Foles
was
took
broken.
over, yeah, he just was broken and couldn't deal with it. But I don't see Hurts as being that same player. And again, is it for a series? It's maybe a feign injury just to give him a little bit of the see what's going on in the field, maybe see the
Well,
field better. I don't know.
to me, it's
Uh,
also just not even to bring up the past. Like, let's talk. Some other people will talk about, you know, even if Hurts throws four picks against the Raiders, they can't bench him. Like, they shouldn't. And I'm just like, I don't understand that. If Hurts comes out and in the the first two quarters, he has two turnovers, it is an immense disservice to the team and the city of Philadelphia and their fans to not put
right,
Tanner McKee in. Like,
right,
I don't know. I can't believe you would not put him in. And again, I'm
right.
not saying, okay, well, now he's out for the season. No, it's just, hey, I can't, you can't, we can't win right now with this.
We got to break you out of your funk. You're in a
You know,
funk, you know.
and we saw this with McNabb back in what, 07, 08. They
Yeah, he got
benched him
benched.
and then he came back in and he was fantastic. So
Yes, he
it's
did.
just
Yeah.
sometimes that can happen. Wentz was a baby that there was just nothing we could do. Sorry.
Right, right. And I agree with that. But
I,
I mean, we'll see what happens. Hopefully
I
that's
just,
not what it doesn't come to that, but
I just don't like the topic of, oh, that's the end of his career with the Eagles. And it's like, well, if that's the end of his career, then he's not a wins matter about everything.
right, right.
Like, or the team matters more than me. Like, so we have to have a conversation about that if that's what would happen.
Right. I agree.
Okay.
Yep.
Player to watch. Mine's Jalen Hurts, obviously, because he had five turnovers, the worst game of his career last week. And unfortunately, with the chance to win the game, didn't come through. So I'm taking Jalen Hurts. What's yours?
Okay. Well, in the vein where I like to be different than you, I'm going with defensive line, and I'm going to go with Jordan Davis, who played unbelievably last week. And I mean, if it's not him, Jalen Hunt, but Jordan Davis was
Yeah.
fantastic last week.
Jordan Davis, possible Pro Bowler this year. Is that on the board?
Well, I mean, if he gets another 2 sacks, 3 sacks, I mean, you're getting a 7, 7.5. I mean, I don't see why not. He's played phenomenally. He really
He's
has
been
played
great
well.
this year, and
Yeah,
I
he
think
has.
I think you're on the board. He might have a Pro Bowl at the end of the season. I really do,
Okay.
which I'm excited, which
Maybe,
would be awesome.
yeah, for
Because I'm
him,
going to go ahead and
definitely.
say Carter's definitely not going to make the Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah,
I kind of thought he wouldn't make the Pro Bowl after he was ejected week one because everyone would be against voting for him because they'd
yeah,
be like, he spit on America's quarterback.
right, right.
So I don't know. But maybe there's all the fans that hate the Cowboys that are going, hey, I love that guy for spitting
Yeah,
on Dak. I don't know. We'll
yeah.
see. But
Well, and the fact again that you've told me, set me straight many times that the Pro Bowl All Pro is voted in regular season, not playoffs. So
yeah,
I don't need Carter to be amazing now. I need him to be amazing in a month from now. I need
true.
him to be that same game wrecker. And if him and Jordan Davis can never get it together on the field at the same time, and Hunt's been looking great. So
Yep.
yeah, and Phillips has been great. So It's
Yeah.
really amazing. So hopefully,
Yeah.
and then of course Marcus Epps was incredible last week. So yeah,
Yeah.
defense
Hopefully
was
that
great.
keeps going.
Hopefully they can keep that same up this week.
Dad, you got a score prediction for me?
I think the Eagles are going to win 24-10.
Okay.
I think they'll probably get some turnovers. They'll probably get some turnovers from Pickett, and I think it'll be. I just hope it's that type of score. So yeah, 24-10.
The Eagles are going to win. I'm taking the Eagles to win. I think they're going to win 17-8. I have the Raiders scoring and going for a 2 point conversion and getting it later in the game. And then I think we have a little field goal to kind of ice the game at the very
Okay,
end. But I just can't pick this team to score in the 20s until
I
they
agree.
do.
They
I mean,
need to, but yeah,
and
you're
and
right.
I liked the way I'm going to go ahead and brag. I liked the way I said it last week. This team is guilty until proven innocent. It's the
Right,
opposite. It's just until they
right.
do it, I can't believe they do it. Like
Yeah,
I can't believe they can do it.
yeah. It's definitely going to be. It's hard to, like you say, have that faith in them. And again, hopefully we get a game that we don't have to sweat bullets the entire game. But I don't see that happening
Yeah,
unless
never.
they jump out to an early lead, which I really would love.
Yeah, which I mean, there might have been times last year we said that, and Super Bowl we win 40-6. So, um,
Incredible.
Dad, do you have anything else to say about the game before we talk about some other games around the NFL?
No, not really. I just
All
want to make
righty.
sure everyone that's listening and watching gives a thumbs up so we can get that likes on YouTube and push this out to more people because we got a lot of good comments this week from other
Yeah,
than regular people, which I like.
yeah, yeah. The regular people suck. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, let's talk about some other games, Dad. One that we have to mention that I don't really care to talk about quick. Commanders Giants. It's just in division. We got to mention it because it's a divisional game. But it's two bad teams, and hopefully the Commanders just kind of continue to lose and just lose any
Yeah.
heart. That way, the games against them are easier for us somehow.
Now, is that a home game for the Giants or what?
It's in New York, yes.
Okay, so it's going to be a sloppy game as well.
Yep. Next one, fun one. Ravens Bengals. I'm excited for that one. And that's on the same time as the Eagles, unfortunately. There's two
Right.
big games that are on the same time as the Eagles. So hopefully we're wrong with our score predictions. Hopefully we're up 24-0. That way we
Right.
can kind of touch on some other ones.
Yeah.
Ravens
Buffalo,
Bang Ravens Bengals and then Bills Patriots.
Patriots.
Two
Yeah.
big two big divisional matchups.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for those two. They both, not great teams, but good teams. The
Well,
Bills and Patriots are great, but the
Patriots going
Ravens
for
Bengals kind of weird.
both. Patriots going for what? 12 wins now or
Yes,
11
they have
wins?
11. They have 11 right now, so they're
Wow,
going for
man,
12.
it's crazy.
Yeah, best
Okay.
team in the league right now, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Crazy. Well, the Broncos are the number one seed right now. Technically, it's weird. And then you got Bills, Patriots, Chargers, Chiefs. Chiefs, we already kind of know there's almost zero chance they get to the playoffs now.
Yeah.
There's still a percentage and everything like that, but
Right. Right.
hopefully they lose this week and then we just zero. Nice
Yeah.
little E next to their name would be great.
Exactly. Eliminated.
Fun one, hopefully here. Packers Broncos in Denver.
Right.
So my buddy Colby's going to be there. He's a season ticket holder, so that'll be a fun one. I'm assuming that's the game of the week. It's the 225 game,
Right.
but it might be the Lions Rams. They're also 225. So
Oh wow.
two big games at 225.
Yeah.
Packers Broncos Lions Rams. Very exciting.
Guess we're cheering for the Rams to lose that one, but at this point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean it's true. It's so tough. I just don't
Yeah.
care anymore. Just
Yeah.
at this point,
Just give me good
give
football.
me just win the division. I don't care
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
one seed. And then the last one I mentioned, the Vikings Cowboys. Now the Vikings, a couple weeks ago, you probably look at this game and just go, it's an easy win for the Cowboys. Vikings scored 31 last week against the Commanders. Now obviously
Yeah.
the Cowboys are a better team than the Commanders, but it's a good defense still over there in Minnesota. Still a really good defense over there.
And
So
McCarthy might have found his feet last week. He was
he,
singing it.
yeah,
I
it,
watched.
it seemed
He was slinging it.
it seemed like it was the best game of his season. So he was pretty
Definitely.
darn good. Yeah. So yeah, that would be nice to see the Cowboys lose right after we win. That way, it would just be kind of more relaxing. Magic number goes down to
Two.
one if that happens. Right now, magic number's three.
Oh, okay.
So if we win,
Okay.
they
Okay.
lose. Magic number's one. We
Right.
feel pretty
Right.
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just need a Cowboys loss as early as humanly possible for us,
Yeah.
man.
I
We just
agree.
need it bad. All right, man. You got anything else to say about this week of football?
Not really, man. Pretty good. Good stuff.
Yeah. it was a fun game tonight. I unfortunately didn't get to watch the whole thing, but still, I thought that was good.
Man, they had so many
Oh man,
penalties on them too. Oh my goodness
and
gracious.
big thing to notice. Big thing to note since we have an couple extra minutes to talk here. Buccaneers, of course, were the 4 seed. With losing, they dropped down to out of the playoffs to the ninth seed. So, or yeah, to the ninth seed, and the
Well,
Panthers
that's
cover that fourth
yeah,
seed spot. And the
yeah.
Panthers, they get to play the
Saints.
Saints. So
Yeah,
they have a huge opportunity here to push for a playoff run, which would be fun to see
exactly.
the Panthers in there,
Oh yeah, I
especially
agree.
if it gives us a chance to kind of play them.
Yeah,
It would just be funny to see the Bucks miss the playoffs.
yeah, I agree. I'm not a
The
fan.
problem is the Panthers and Bucks play each other twice over the next 4 weeks. So
Right. Kind of
if
like
the
us with the
Panthers
Commanders, which is silly.
correct, it's the exact same
Just
situation.
can't do that.
There's a lot of that because the Packers they played the Bears last week, they play the Bears next week, and you're just kind of like, why is this happening? I think the
But when you
Lions are a similar thing.
yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
when you play game 15, then you have another game, then you play 17. Like that's too much. You should be paying them week 14, and it should be split a little bit, not, team, another team, and then that team again. That to me, that's just too. I don't know. It's
I
silly.
understand. I understand. All right, man. You got anything else?
No, good man.
All right. Let's say our goodbyes. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. If you like Philly Eagles Therapy, do us a favor. Rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Comment down below your prediction for the game, your score prediction, how you think this game's going to go for our beloved quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and this awesome defense. But other than that, you can send any questions to Philly Eagles Therapy at gmail.com. But other than that, from all of us here at Philly Eagles Therapy, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
Fly, Eagles, fly.